What's up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And as you know, I go around this amazing planet finding the best humans I can find to come on here to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. Now, you probably remember this guy because he was so much fun the last time we had him on. His name is Ken Attard, and he has, he has been here before because he likes to help people shift their mindset and to create the results that they desire without a doubt, right? And I know that this is like one of his biggest passions. So I wanted him to come back on because he has recently launched a new program called Curiosity, right? No, Cruising to Clarify, Curiosity to
Cruising
Clarify.
to
Cru-
clarity.
exactly. Cruising to Clarity.
Just to be
So I
clear.
wanted, just to be clear, cruising to clarity. Neena cannot read today. It's been a 12-hour day. Give me some grace. So I wanted to have him back on. No, I really did because he is really, really great. Last time we were on here, we had such a great time talking about mindset and mind flow and how to create, the things you want in your life. And this is a real big passion for Ken. So I wanted to make sure Ken came back on here because we had so much fun, Ken, talking last time. So
Absolutely.
for those who didn't see that episode, because y'all better go back and watch it. But who those who didn't, give us a little bit about who you are, Ken, and we're gonna take it from there.
Absolutely. No problem. I'm the founder of Mindset Malta. I am a mindset consultant. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years plus. And I like to say that, you know what, I'm a human being just like each and every person on this planet. I'm a father as well. And I just have an innate passion for mindset and for enabling people to understand the
Mm,
true power of their mindset and how that can help them to get the results and the experiences that I believe everybody really and truly wants, yet for
yeah.
some reason for many people it eludes them. And one of those reasons I believe is just the lack of awareness of how mindset actually plays an important role in each and every person's life.
Yeah. And I think it just all starts there though, doesn't it, Ken? It starts with the mind. I mean, it has to start there because that's, I think, where everything is created, right? Your imagination, the things that you want to see, the businesses you want to create, like all of that starts in the mind. And when you have all of these blockages or things that you're feeling that are not allowing you to move forward, I always feel like you do need that third eye. You do need that third person to come on in and look at it, what the things that you're trying to achieve that you can't see beyond, right? Do you believe in that as well? Obviously, right?
Well,
Obviously.
sometimes, well, without a doubt, when there is a, let's say, a third person's perspective, an observer's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes they're actually going to be able to, let's be totally straight here, you're
Yep,
going to be able to see the shit that you can't see.
that's right.
Sometimes you are so engulfed in it, you are so lost in your own stuff that you just can't see it. and
Mm-hmm.
and this is what
Mm-hmm.
creates a lot of a lot of fogginess. So we're
Right.
talking about clarity. One of the things I like to mention is one of the scariest moments for me in my life was in 1999. Um, so I'm based in Malta,
Mm-hmm.
yet I was actually traveling, and I was in Florida. I was in Florida, and it was the normal, Disneyland and all this stuff. And yet there was one day where we were going to travel. We had a bit of a, maybe an hour and a half drive. I can't remember where we were going, but it was about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive. And we set out early in the morning, and it was foggy. Like, it
Mm.
was really foggy. And I'm not used to driving on the highways. I'm driving on a different side of the road than what I'm
Oh,
used
that's
to,
right. Yeah.
right? On a
Mm-hmm.
different side of the road. I had a 6 year old in the car. I had my wife at the time in the car. And, I could barely see in front of me. I'm on a highway. I can't go too fast so I don't slam someone. Can't go too slow so no one hits me from from behind. And I honestly, it was really scary. For me, it was really scary. I just wasn't used
Right.
to it. And 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 that didn't last too long. I think it was a good 3/4 of an hour, but it felt like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Amazingly, I think there are a lot of people going through their life in exactly the same mode.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Mm-hmm.
things are foggy. They're not clear about where they're going, where their life is headed, where their business is headed, where their relationships are headed. And it's really just foggy. And that can be scary.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
truly believe that that can be really, really scary when day after day you're waking up and you're just not sure. You're just not sure,
Yeah.
and I mean, life already sort of like throws at us, well, throws at us, a lot of uncertainties that happen,
Right. Right.
uncertainties already, let alone when, things just aren't clear. And on top of that, and this is where I believe the third person, like you're saying, can come in tremendously, is that on top of that, a lot of people just don't know what to do.
They don't know what they don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know
Yeah.
what they don't know. And they
Right.
just don't have that awareness.
Mhm.
And everything starts from there. Everything starts from
Yeah.
there. And as soon as you can start to realize how, mindset can create that clarity, and that takes some practice, it takes some learning,
Yeah.
yet I really don't believe it's out of the scope of anybody's capabilities.
Right. I don't either. And I think that going back to your story a little bit, it's also very powerful to look at that analogy as well, because even though you were scared, even though you were nervous, even though you were proceeding with caution, you didn't stop though, right?
No.
So,
Sometimes, and I still contemplate. It's a long time ago now, and I'm wondering. So, what was the reason? And I think the reason I didn't pull to the side was just it was so foggy. I wasn't sure people were actually going to see me on the
right,
side. So I
right,
just, like
right.
you said, I said, okay, let me just go forward in the best manner that I felt possible.
Mhm.
And yeah, and it's a matter of continuing and moving
Right.
forward. I mean,
And you had
and
a
that's
destination.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely new.
Mhm.
And that is key. That, without a doubt,
Yeah.
that is key. Knowing where you are actually going. And again, a lot of people are living their life in a way that I truly believe, sometimes is so erratic. It's amazing. The catalyst for me to decide to create this program, Cruising to Clarity, happened sort of by chance. Well, nothing really happens by chance, but that's a whole different
Right.
program.
Right. We always go there, don't we, Ken? All right, go
It's
ahead.
all
Go
different.
ahead.
Okay, so I started this year off, 2022, and I started to sit down with individuals, and I was doing what I call these deep dive breakthrough sessions, where I sit down with people. I sit down with them for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just simply, and I take them through a process. Now, through this process, we're looking at some of the stuff that's working in their life. We're looking at some of the resources that are helping them to make these things work. And we're also looking at what their ideal life would look like. If they literally had
Mm,
a magic wand,
that's
what would
good.
their ideal life
Yeah.
look like? Now, the interesting part is this: some people, and quite a few individuals I noticed, have never contemplated this,
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
never actually sat down and said, you know, if I could live my ideal life, what would this look like? Where would
Right.
I be living? Who would I have relationships with? What would I be doing with my life? What would my day look like? How many days a week would I be working? How many hours a day would I work? How much income would I be earning in my ideal life?
Right.
And so many individuals have never done this exercise, have never even thought of the possibility of having this ideal life.
Mhm. Mhm.
And one thing that I really like to tell them is this, because some people start thinking about their ideal life. We start off and I tell them, listen, it's really important to distinguish between what you believe your ideal life looks like, and what you think it can look like. Because
Mm.
what you think it can look like, there's a good chance that you're going to limit yourself to the paradigms that you know right now. So I would
Yeah.
love to earn this much income, But you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I think I can earn this much. Only because of the
Right.
paradigms that you have, and the experiences you've had so far, and the limitations that have held you back so far. And this is what's so key about this, and looking at this and saying, okay, let me actually, not put any limitations. What would my ideal life look like?
That's
Now,
good.
you might come up with some really big things, which no problem with that. Absolutely no problem with that. And then we can take it forward from there. So the catalyst for me for this program was that I noticed, after sitting down with probably over 50, 60 people, there was a common thread. There was a common thread that a high majority of people had an idea, sort of what they would like,
Right.
but did not know how they were going to get there. And it was still foggy. It was still very
Right.
unclear. It was still very unclear. So I said, this is really interesting that, I've sat down with so many people, and that they're all having this common thread.
It's true.
And I said, okay, this is interesting. There's potential here for a program, and hence that's when I started looking at the potential of creating this program, Cruising to Clarity. And
Hmm.
essentially, it's based on 8 building blocks
Yeah, I want to
in
touch
eight
that. Hmm.
yeah, 8 building
Hmm.
blocks in 8 weeks for infinite possibilities.
That's awesome. I want to touch on that because
Yeah,
even though I couldn't get it together in the beginning when I was introducing you, it is cruising to clarity. Needed
there
to
you go.
clarify
But
that
how
it is
brilliant is that,
cruising to
right? That
clarity.
wasn't clear to you, and now it is.
That's brilliant. So talk to me about that because I know that you last time you were here and we were talking about Mindset Malta, we were talking about how that was a longer program. I believe it was a 12-month program. Where you work with people for that whole 12 months for the year. And I thought that was amazing because lots of times, at least, in my program, I don't drop my people. Like I stay with them and we still
Yeah,
work through it. And
absolutely.
I have been, with coaches in the past that have dropped me after the 12 weeks or whatever. I don't even hear from them again. But I didn't want to be that person, Ken. And so when you had come on and you were talking about that trauma, I was like, wow, that's a very great way to really affect a person's life. You now become more than just their coach. You become their friend. You can become their mentor. You become somebody they rely on. And that's a beautiful gift. That's a beautiful gift. And so I wanted to talk to you about that, about the cruising to clarity, because this is a little different. This is
Hmm.
eight building blocks, right? So I'm just thinking ahead, but I believe it's not a 12-month program. Is that correct?
Correct. So let's make things really, really clear for that.
Yeah.
So Mindset Malta, under Mindset Malta, which is the umbrella,
Hmm.
come the various programs. So the 12-month program that you're talking about
Hmm.
is actually called the Inside Lane.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, which is the 12-month program. And then now we have Cruising to Clarity, which is the 8-week program. Now,
Okay.
I decided to do this, the 8-week program, for the simple reason that there are some people who want to get results much quicker. And again, not it doesn't mean during the 12-month program that you don't get results quick.
Right.
Yet some people find that very inundating, that they're going to commit to their success for 12 months. I know
Right.
that sounds,
I know.
it's
I
it's
know.
funny. It's funny, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, we live
we'll
in a
we'll,
social
we'll
media world, Ken. We live in a
well,
social media
we'll
world.
save up for 12 months to buy the
Yeah,
latest, I don't know, gadget.
it's true.
Yet to dedicate 12 months, that and no different than, people will, think about it. How often do people upgrade their mobile?
Right. Right.
Yeah, pretty often.
Yeah.
Yet
Yeah.
you have this, I don't know, trillion gigabyte mechanism on your shoulders,
Yes.
that many people have not realized that they have the potential to actually upgrade that every single day.
That's so good.
So coming back to the 8-week program, so I decided to do the 8-week program because I know there are people who want to go through programs maybe a little quicker. Yet, I'm going to make this really clear. Although it's an 8-week program, I give people a minimum of 6 months to go through it.
Oh, okay. Great.
And the reason I do that is because, one of the things that I've discovered over the years as well, that different people work at different paces.
Right.
What's comfortable, and people are at different places in their life. It's one thing if I have let's say a single mom coming through the program who has a full-time job, maybe has some children, and can dedicate a certain amount of time. I want her to be able to go through the program at the pace that she is comfortable with. Just, and
Right.
same thing with a man. There's no different. People are different places, right? Whereas if I have a younger person who maybe is a student still and maybe has a little more time on their hands, potentially, they could maybe go through it a little quicker. So those people going through it a little quicker, they still have the 6 months to go back, watch the videos again, over,
That's
and
good.
just uncover different layers. So
Mm-hmm.
I want people, for me, it's all about having fun, like having
Right.
fun through the process. The last thing I want you to do is come into a program that is inundating, that is giving you, is adding pressure to your life.
Right.
I want you to
You're gonna
come.
need a program for the program.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like, who
Right.
wants to do that? And I know for certain that adults, especially children as well, but adults especially as well, learn when they're having fun.
Right.
So have fun with it, enjoy it, and let it unfold the way you want. So although it is an 8-week program, I can give people up to a year to actually do it, depending what they decide to choose. They can have, and they can go through it at their pace. That is what is absolutely essential. So the reason being as well, and I agree with you totally here, Nina. It is so important for me. Any client, whether you're coming through, I don't care if it's an 8-week program. I don't care if I actually sat down with you for a breakthrough session once.
Right.
I will get back to you. I will get back
Mm-hmm.
to you and say, "Hi, once in a while, how you doing?" I don't care.
Right.
Not necessarily to pitch you anything, to sell you anything. I just want to know how you're doing.
Agreed. I'm the same.
Right? How
I'm
you
the
doing? How you
same.
getting on? And
Mm-hmm.
this is how we build relationships. This is really, really
Mm-hmm.
key. This is
Mm-hmm.
how we build relationships. And you don't know what's going to come of those relationships down
You
the
don't.
road.
You really, really don't. And it's very powerful when you would like most of my clients are word of mouth, right? It's extremely powerful when somebody that you've coached has such a powerful connection to what you're doing that they tell others, right? And then you have like,
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I have social media, but honestly, most of my clients are word of mouth. And that's a very
Most
powerful
powerful.
thing. Yeah, that's very powerful because you're already getting basically your kudos or your review before you even get on the call with this person because they already spoke to someone who's worked with you, which
It's
is
it's,
really great. It's really
it's a
great.
transfer of trust.
Yeah, yeah,
it's an it's
exactly.
it's a transfer of trust, man. Like,
Mhm.
someone knows someone, and they trust them, so they
Mhm.
automatically, have this element of trust with you. and
Right.
and that is like key when it comes to, like with having clients, and that is key
Oh
when you can
yeah.
have those testimonials, someone just referring you. That's absolutely like it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever.
It
It's a
is.
great
It really
feeling.
is.
I'll be honest, it's greatly feeling for us as well, as
Mhm.
consultants, as coaches, as people we're helping, because it gives us that. And again, and I'll make this really clear because I think this is an important point for people to understand, is it gives us that external validation that, what we're doing is valid,
Right.
not that we depend on it,
Right.
right? Not
But
that we
but you
depend on it,
feel you feel good because you
but
feel
it's
like you're
nice.
also helping someone. Yeah. And you're really
Absolutely.
helping someone if that person's been with you through your program and then they go and tell a friend or tell a coworker, tell somebody because it's changed your life in such a way, then you know you're on the right track to doing what you really love to do. And it's something powerful about that. And I want to talk to you about your 8 building blocks. I know
Yeah.
I want everybody who's listening to understand what these blocks are. And I know there's 8 of them. So if I'd love you to touch on them if you can.
Sure, no problem. So let me mention what they are first, and maybe we'll
Okay.
touch on one or two of them, just because of time constraints. Absolutely.
Sure.
So building block number one, and this is again essential, is accessing your true freedom.
That's good.
So, okay, let me do this. Let me mention the building blocks, and I'll come back to this one. So
Yeah.
accessing your true freedom. Number two are keys to your success and to your true freedom. Number three are decisions based on your values.
That's good.
Okay. Number four is understanding well formed goals. This is not a matter of just setting
Mm-hmm.
goals, but it's important to have well-formed goals.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5 is designing your future now.
Love
We've
that.
already touched a tiny bit on that. And that's about, designing the future now is about looking at where you want to achieve, but now how are we going to achieve that? Chunking
Yeah,
that down, bringing it down into
I love
smaller
that.
bite-sized steps, so it's not overwhelming anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 is recognizing your strengths. So what are you actually
What you're
focused on?
actually good at. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
This
what
is
you're good
good.
at and where you're focusing.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, why you have to stop and be quiet.
That's a good one. That's a challenge, but that's a good one.
And number 8, it's time to implement inspired action.
That's awesome. That's great. You touched on a lot of good things. We could go all day for this stuff,
I
Ken.
know, I know. I told you. I told you. So, so, like I said, accessing. Number 1 is accessing your true freedom.
I love that.
So, let's bring it back a bit and look at and I do have somewhat of a focus on entrepreneurs. And although this program can serve anybody, so I like to
Mm-hmm.
say entrepreneurs plus. But I do love working with entrepreneurs because I believe we can change a lot of stuff in the culture of businesses through these types of learnings. So taking a step back and looking at, what do people truly ultimately want? Because people talk about the stuff that they want, what they
Mm-hmm.
want to achieve in their life, and having, having the home that they always wanted, having the car that they always, all these wonderful things. But ultimately, and having the finances, for instance, and having the financial freedom. But ultimately, what is it that people truly
Why?
want?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they
Yeah.
want all of these things?
Mm-hmm.
What is this? What are these things supposedly going to bring them?
It's usually peace and freedom.
There you go. It's peace
Mm-hmm.
and freedom, supposedly. Now,
Right.
again, I make this like to make this. I have to make this really clear. I love all of those things. I have no problem with having the home and having the car and having all the,
Right.
let's say,
Right.
talk about the material things, which are absolutely wonderful. Yet I can guarantee you that none of those things are going to give you the peace and the true freedom.
Right.
None
100%.
of them.
Right.
None of them, especially if you're attached to them,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're attached to them. Like if you're attached to, until you have, I don't know, your dream home, like you're never going to be happy,
Right.
right? Until you
Right.
have it. And then you get it, and then you still
You're still
realize,
not happy, right?
wait a second, what's going on here? Like I'm supposed to have arrived somewhere,
Right.
and you go, what's going on? And
Yeah.
that's only because that you haven't actually accessed your true freedom yet, and that you
Mm-hmm.
can only
Mm-hmm.
access from within.
Mm-hmm. I call that
From
the
within.
illusion of the arrival.
The illusion of the arrival. Ugh. And it is an illusion. It really is an illusion. So learning how to actually start to access that true freedom, the freedom is on the inside when we have no attachment to anything, when finally we can actually say, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy this moment right now, wherever I
Right.
am, whatever I'm
Right.
doing, whether it's I'm at my job, or I'm being present with my children right now, or whether with my partner, or whatever, or just at the grocery store doing your shopping. How do you have you ever attempt this, anybody listening, attempt this sometime, when the next time you actually go grocery shopping, go grocery shopping rather than, oh god, I got to get all this done because I got to get somewhere else, and I got to be doing this in an hour, and then in 2 hours I got to be doing this, rather than just, yeah, I don't know, just, I understand it can be a challenge, rather than just strolling down the aisles and just enjoying that moment and
Right.
just
Right.
enjoying the
Right.
process,
Right.
which is a
Right.
great
And
analogy
it
for
could be
me.
great. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a great analogy for
Mm-hmm.
life. What if you
Mm-hmm.
just enjoyed the whole process of life?
Mm-hmm.
Now, as I've said many a time, this does not mean you're not going to have your challenges.
Right.
As much as I'd love to, and as much as I love to laugh, and as much as I enjoy to have fun, and I
Mm-hmm.
do, challenges come up. I do my best to laugh through them as well.
Yeah, I do too. I know.
Yeah,
I
right?
have a
Because
little bit of a warped sense of humor, so a lot of times when things happen, I just the worst things pop in my brain. I think I'm just have that comedian brain. I see something that's supposed to be really bad, and I start like, "Oh, Nina, stop! Don't think
yeah.
that,"
But that's
because
great
I
because
like
I mean,
laughing. So
think about what's, true success is. I mean, to me, one
right,
of the things about true success is being able to laugh while you're going through your crap,
yeah, yeah.
right? Like
I
it
even laugh
is,
at
it is
myself
what
when
it
I'm
is.
whining. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it is what it is, and you go, okay, it is like, okay, how can I smile and get through this and still be joyful? So
Mm-hmm,
learning
mm-hmm.
all about this, and this is where when we access the true freedom, this is where it all happens because, and it's within.
So good.
So,
Yeah.
so many people are chasing the dreams. So, I mentioned that, someone sits down and talks about their ideal life. Fantastic. They want to have this, they want to have this. They want to get up at this time of the day, enjoy, I don't know, whatever, walk out onto their terrace, enjoy, be by the sea, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Great. Wonderful. The thing is this, if you're going to go chasing those things, those results, those experiences, as many do, they go chasing them.
Yeah.
The thing is this, is that everything that's happening outside of you is a reflection of what's happening inside of you.
Mm.
So if you do not have joy on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
it is impossible to have joy on the outside.
Right.
It's
Right.
impossible. It's just impossible. So, even the
Yeah.
way you,
That's good.
so understand like the power of that. So when you actually have that on the inside, now you too are showing up differently, whether it's, you know, on a podcast, whether it's, like I said, how you're mingling with, with the cashier at the supermarket. Let me use the example as cashier at the supermarket. Are
Right.
you, so inside of you, are you at peace so that you're actually exuding peace, exuding kindness, exuding grace, exuding kind words? Are
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
actually at peace with yourself first?
Mm-hmm.
Because without that, you can't do it on the outside. And everything that's happening on the outside, so every result that you're going to achieve, rather than chasing it, I like to look at it like this, that business, money, relationships, all of those things and how they are evolving are a byproduct of what's going on in the inside, which is
Right.
connected with what's happening in your mind.
Right.
Although the mind is not here, this is the brain, the mind is like everywhere.
Right. I love that.
so
I love that. Yeah.
so you got to, this is why it comes back to mindset and how you are shifting things within so that things shift on the outside.
Yeah.
So this is part
Yeah.
of the process of accessing true freedom, right?
It is.
Keys to, yeah, it's so vital, it's so essential. But like I said, many people have no clue, just not are just not aware yet. I don't know if last time I mentioned when I was here whether I had mentioned the triple U syndrome. I believe I did. I'm
I
not
think
sure.
so. I think so. Yeah. I
Where people
was.
just underrate, underestimate, and
Yeah.
underutilize
Yeah.
mindset,
Right. Yes.
right? It's
Yes.
just it's just
Yes.
underrated.
We don't even, a lot. And this took me some time too, right? I was after, after maybe in my 30s or so that I finally started to realize that investing in me was a good idea. You know what I mean? I've always been a go-getter and I always done things so, but I never like stopped to say, hold on a second, maybe I should invest in in more knowledge. Maybe I should really look at what it means to work on the brain. What is NLP? Why do I use that? And once I started, then it becomes addicting, right? Because now you're really realizing how much you are growing as a human being and how much what you said, Ken, what's on the inside is really a reflection, right? And so, or what's on the outside is a reflection of what's going on the inside. And a lot of humans or people that I've dealt with are blaming others for what they're feeling and what they're going through. And I'm like, okay, that situation. And then they tell me about another one, another say, yeah, but the common person in all of these situations is you, right? They don't usually like to talk to me too much after that, but that's what
Yeah.
I tell
But this is, see, and this is, I get, yeah, absolutely, I get you. And this is what's really cool about this. And again, the way I look at it now is this, and this is my belief system, is this, because we talk about your that inner peace, that inner self. Now, what is key to understand, what maybe a
right.
lot of people don't understand, is that the essence of each and every one of us is precisely the same.
Hmm.
Who you truly are, Nina, and who I truly am, and who anybody listening here truly is exactly the same.
Which
It's an
is what,
essence
Ken?
of
Hmm.
it's an essence
Essence of
of
what?
pure love.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's an
Okay, I
essence
got
of
you.
pure love. It's, some people call it the higher self, some people call
Hmm.
it the inner self, some people, you know what I call it, and you're going to love this, and you'll understand why you're going to love this. I came up with this term not too long, a little while ago now, and I'm using it. I call it the umami self.
I do love that.
I
I
thought you
love
would.
that. Yeah.
So umami in the food world is
Yes, I
that
love
when
it.
you eat something and it's like indescribable, this taste is like phenomenal, right?
Right.
And the definition of umami is the essence of deliciousness.
Hmm.
So the umami self is the essence of deliciousness of who you truly are.
Hmm.
Now, if it's the same, each and every one of us has this inner one, an inner self, that this umami self is exactly the same. It's pure love. It's perfect. There's nothing absolute. What happens with a lot of people is they sort of like pinch themselves off from that inner self. They get this doubt. When you get that doubt and that bad feeling, it's just because you're pinching your umami self is saying, no, it's okay, Nina. It's all good. Don't worry. Let's all moving forward exactly the way it is. There's nothing to
Right.
doubt,
Right.
right? But we pull ourselves away, sort of. Now, when you understand that we're all the same, now, wherever I am, if I'm willing to attack someone and blame, who am I actually blaming?
Mm.
I'm blaming myself. It's exactly the same because we're all the same. I can't hurt someone else, attack someone else without attacking myself. I
Yeah, I
can't be
think we talked
kind.
about this. This is such a familiar, and I have to go back to what we talked about because you're right. We did talk about this and how we can't be blaming someone else if we're attacking other people. How we're really attacking what we maybe don't like within us or something that's going on there.
Absolutely, that's
Yeah, I
it, right?
remember
Because
us
we're starting
talking
to
about
see
that. Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah.
We're starting to
Hmm.
go, oh, I really don't like the way, it's the law of reflection. You can
Right,
only see
right,
in other people what you can see in yourself, or you can't
right.
see in other people what you can't see in yourself. It's
And
it's
that's
it's. Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. No, I was going to
No,
say
no.
it's
So
super powerful, Ken, because you're talking about assessing your true freedom, and we only touch one pillar, right? And you're so it sounds to me like this program is really like built on that. Like that seems to be like
that,
the
well, that's
big
definitely going
thing
to
that
be
we got to do.
core.
Yeah,
Yeah, because without that,
yeah,
you, because I mean, like, again, we'll get into keys of your so for instance, keys to success and true freedom, three main keys very quickly. Knowing specifically what you want, and I put specifically in quotation marks, for a specific reason. No, so being so knowing what specifically what you want, accepting where you are right now,
right.
and being honest with yourself.
That's good.
I want to be a millionaire. Yeah, okay, that's fantastic. Well, accept where you are right now because you're $250,000 in debt,
Right.
and
Hmm.
being honest with yourself,
Right.
okay, and not
Right.
candy coating the crap.
Right. And that
So,
happens
so,
a
so,
lot. That happens
yeah, happens.
a
Absolutely, I've done
lot.
it. Oh my God, I've
Yeah.
done it. The
Yeah.
amazing
I've
thing
done
though
it
is
too.
the
I've done
minute,
it too.
yeah, the minute you're truthful, you're honest with yourself. It's amazing how all of a sudden you just free up a ton of space where
Oh
you
yeah,
can
you really
shovel
do.
away all that crap and new stuff can come in.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
And then the third one is being willing. So I originally had learned this, being willing to do what it takes to get what you want. It is now being willing to do slash be what it takes
That's good.
to get what you want. And I
Mhm.
can tell you right now, the being part is actually more important than the doing part. And the being part ties in with your umami self,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that.
right? So
I
yeah,
like
so
that.
now we're going to touch, and then discovering your values. Again, your values are with again, which are important to
W-
you. How many people are
Right.
compromising their values every day, going to a job that they potentially are doing things, they're being made to do things that they that are not aligned with their values,
Right.
and they're feeling sick, and they're getting sick, and they're wondering why they're feeling
Why they're
sick
getting
heading
sick.
to work.
So true. So
Right,
true.
it's just right. And then learning about well-formed goals. Many people set goals, but the goals aren't set in a way that are they're full of holes. So just one thing is the fact that it has to be initiated and maintained by the individual, which is you, which is
Right.
you are the individual. You need to initiate the goal and maintain it. It can't be depending on so many other people that you're at everybody else's whim.
That's so good.
That's Yeah, it's just one component of a well-formed goal. Designing your future now. It's about thinking about what you do want. How many people they literally have to sit down, do an exercise. Okay, what is it I want?
Right.
What the
Right.
hell do I want? And okay, now I need to chunk it down.
Yeah.
Okay, and just bite size, because a lot of people you have a really big goal, which is wonderful. Yet if it's so far away and so big, it might be very overwhelming. So you
Right.
learn how to make it not overwhelming, right?
That's
Recognizing
so
your
good.
strengths. What are you looking at? Are you looking at all the crap in your life, or are you looking at the good
Mm-hmm.
things in your life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what I
Just
like
being
about
very
that is, I think people need to really recognize as well. Like people are like, oh, I could just think about what I want in the future, but that's not what Ken is saying. Ken is saying, yes, you can do that, but we need to strategically think about what does that look like, feel like, smell like. What you got to
absolutely.
envelop that whole thing so that then you can work, like he said, in chunks backwards. It's not just think about what you want and then move on with your life.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what we
yeah,
all do. We all do that, but we're not
yeah,
there because you don't stop to strategically think about what that can mean or look like.
absolutely. I mean, you say
Yeah.
you're going to buy a house in 5 years' time. You
Yeah.
don't wait for the 5 years to go by and then go, okay,
And then
now it's
go,
time to buy a house.
dang.
You got to think
Right.
before, right? You got to think a
Right.
little bit before,
Right.
for the
Of
most part, for
course.
most people,
Right.
and
Right.
and then the quiet time, without, again, that again aligns with your umami self as well, and being
Hmm.
quiet. And you know what? As an individual, as an entrepreneur, you are always going to have tasks that need to be done, or whatever needs to be done. I mean, and I can speak for myself, and I'm sure it's the same for Nina. If I wanted to, I could go
Right.
24/7, 7 days a
Right.
week, if I
Right.
wanted to,
Right.
because there's always something to do.
There's always something.
But you know what? What I've discovered over the years is, man, when I stay quiet and I take quiet time and I say, you know what, today is beach day.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm going to go to the beach and I'm going to have some
I
quiet
love
time.
that. Yep.
And
Yep.
you know what? And this is where I get my inspiration. I remind myself of my insignificance in this huge. I am significant within the insignificance. So
Yeah, I
what I
get
mean
it.
by that is, I just noticed there's so much more to my life than my or to this life than my my universe, right?
Right.
My
Right.
world. There's so much more.
Love
I
it.
get reminded by that. I look at the vastness of the sea, or the vastness of the ocean, for those of you who can do that, or the vastness of nature, and you go, holy
Hmm.
mackerel, like I am so small in
I'm
this.
so small. And I like that feeling actually.
Yeah,
It just puts everything in perspective.
yeah, and that everything is working out wonderfully,
Right.
and then this is
Right.
where when we slow ourselves down, we actually allow ourselves to receive.
Hmm.
This is why
Hmm.
it's not about chasing anything. It's
Right.
about drawing things to you
Hmm.
and learning
Hmm.
about that. And then obviously time to implement inspired action then. So learning
Yep.
to go with that inspired action and say, okay, this is the action I want to take. When it's inspired, not taking action for the sake of taking action.
Right.
Like I like to say, there's a lot of people who are really busy doing nothing.
Doing nothing. It's so true. That's
Right? Because
so
they're just
true.
busy. You
Yeah.
call them, hey, hey, you want to get together? Let's have, let's get. I mean, I'm on an island that's 120 square miles. It's very easy to get together for a coffee within 15 minutes. Let's make it
Right.
very clear, right? You don't want to get there. Oh, I can't. I'm busy. Okay, when are you available? Let me see. I've got a slot in 3 months. Like, holy mackerel, dude! 3 months? You got to be kidding me! For
Right.
like, like, I get it. Like, how busy can you be? but
I
a lot
know.
of
And you
people are
probably
really
have
busy.
beautiful beaches too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
And when people
absolutely. I
are
can.
too busy, they don't even go to those beaches and you have
This
them
is
right
it, and
there.
I've done that, and I've
Yeah,
done that. There were years when I
exactly.
never went to the beach. I'm like, why?
Why? Right,
Why,
right.
right? And because and now, but I now I just understand more how there's the inspiration really comes there. Just like I'll get ideas, and it's amazing. I actually sometimes get away to one of our sister islands, which is even smaller. I got a small place there, and it's amazing how when I go there and literally, really, like if I want to do some writing for this program, I went there to write it there because it and I can go down by the sea at a kiosk, sit, have
Oh,
a coffee,
so
write,
nice. Yeah,
enjoy, and just it's just like, and I go, oh my god, I'm in heaven.
right.
And not only that, things flow, and not only that, some most of the time when that happens, I'm actually there and business comes to me with me without even searching for it. It's
Always the way,
amazing.
Ken. Always the
It's
way.
Yeah, always the way. So it's
I
so this
love
is so
this.
so 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 crucial, so crucial.
I love this. I love this program. I think it's going to be very, very successful. I'm glad that you decided to come on Straight Talk too to talk about it because I have amazing entrepreneurs here and a lot of people that are also pivoting and shifting, right, and realizing that maybe they don't want to go to a job that doesn't align with their values. And a lot of people, you're right, because even as you were talking about that, a lot of people don't think about what their future looks like. I have, thank God, I have. But even as you were saying it, I went there, you know what I'm saying, I was going there and thought, because I'm like, it's so important though, Ken, like that we do that we really stop to say, I only have one life here. And time is such a precious commodity because it's the one thing we can never get back, but we waste it all the time, right?
Yeah, and it's amazing. Yeah, a lot of people are, yeah, wasting that time. And one thing that I'm adding now to this, like you said, I agree with you 100%. Life is it like the way I look at it is this: this life is way too short
Yeah, way too short.
not to be joyful and not to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At the
Agreed.
same time, just to give those encouragement, it's long enough for you to accomplish anything you want to accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think that this is going to be really great for people to, and I love that you're giving them time and space too, because, it's not just, oh, 1 week, get it done. Sometimes it takes a little bit of digging a little deeper, maybe because in the beginning, I think it's hard for people who haven't done this kind of self-development work to
Yeah,
just do it. It
yeah.
does take time, but I
The,
love that you put the framework together for them.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that what I would say to anybody that was potentially interested, or for whatever they're going to do in any sphere, is this: is just be consistent.
Yeah.
So so just be consistent. So for instance, I tell my any clients coming into this program, just be consistent. So if you've decided you're going to be consistent with one building block a week, be consistent with that. If
Right.
you've decided you're going to be consistent with one building block every 2 weeks, just be consistent with it.
I
So
love
you
that.
start to create that habit of
Mhm,
consistency
mhm,
so that you
mhm.
carry that forward into any area of
Anything.
your
Yeah,
life. Because I
yeah.
can guarantee you, the successes that you've had in your life, anybody listening here, the successes you've had in your life, and you've had successes, look at those. And I can guarantee you at that point in time, you were being consistent. So whether
Mhm.
that was in your relationships, whether it was in your health, whether it was in your education, you were successful because you were consistent.
That's so good and very, very true and wise to have people look back at that, because I think that's one thing that a lot of people who are feeling maybe discouraged or their business isn't going the way they think, they immediately think they're not good enough or they just don't have what it takes to do. And that's absolutely not a universal truth. That's not true. And when something is not true, that means that it can be changed, that you
Yeah,
can
absolutely.
actually do
That's
something different. So
It's just
that's
not
fantastic.
aligned,
It's
as
just
you
not
said,
aligned.
with your
Right.
umami self.
No, I
It
love the
just takes you
umami
away.
self. That
I'm
makes me
throwing
want
it in there,
Asian food.
okay?
I really want some now. I want Asian food. All right. So, Ken, before I let you go, because this program is going to be freaking amazing and I know people are going to want to really join, I need to know where to send them. So, give me where people can go to check out all you have to offer, not just this program, but everything that you have to offer.
So for this particular program. And again, it's not where I'm going to send them is not going to, they're not going to have to click to buy or anything like that. They're going to get more information and then they can
Okay.
take it from there. So it's growth for the number four. So growth for entrepreneurs.com.
Okay. Great.
So
That's
growth
simple.
for the number four entrepreneurs.com. They can go there and they can see if it is something for them. It is geared towards, it really, like I said, entrepreneurs plus, because I believe individuals can benefit from this as well. Yet there
Absolutely.
is an emphasis on people who maybe are sitting on the fence and saying, do I want to become an entrepreneur? Do I not want to become an entrepreneur? Those people who are seasoned entrepreneurs, without a doubt, and also aspiring entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Right?
Great.
Aspiring. Now they're an entrepreneur, they're in the entrepreneur world, but they're sort of like in the beginning and they're aspiring to take things to a whole new level.
That's great, Ken. Thank you so much. Every time you come, I have so much fun with you. This is all you always like.
It's
You have such great knowledge. I just love speaking with you. So thank you for being here.
my absolute pleasure. I mean, I really appreciate and the fact that you accepted to have me here. I mean, and that I can spread my message. So I'm very, very grateful and humbled by the fact that you have had me here on the program again.
It's been a pleasure, really, all the way from Malta. It's been such a pleasure. I wish I can go there one day because I hear it's
Yeah, well, no more
beautiful.
wishing, man. Put it
Right.
down.
That's
Put it
right.
down.
That's right. That is correct. But thank you so much, Ken. I really do appreciate you. And I know that my audience, eats this kind of stuff up. They love this kind of stuff. So I'm glad that we got to speak about it and then touch on the pillars too. That was really, really great. So thank you. Thank you.
My
Guys,
absolute
thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you so much for being here, hanging out with us. This was a little bit of a longer episode, but I thought it was definitely worth it because when it's something that transforms your thinking, when it's something that's intentional about making your life better, that's what I love to speak about. And that I think it's super important for all of you to listen to. So thank you guys for always sharing and downloading and all that great stuff. And I love it. And I cannot believe that my last numbers, I think, were like at 30,000 downloads for the month. That means this podcast is really reaching bunches and bunches of you out there. And this is amazing. So when I can bring this kind of content that's going to help you move forward, that's all I want to do is keep you guys going at least 1% forward every single day. So thank you guys for being here. I'll make sure to link all of Ken's information below so that you guys can reach out to him, go get his program and all that great stuff. Neena Perez, straight talk, no sugar added. Until next time.